Hello and welcome back to my blog. This is kind of a milestone, number 200, the bicentennial edition of my blog. You'd think I would make a special post and not just continue with this book. Well, you never know. I might change my mind and put this out as number 201, but I'll be saying 200. We'll see. Because we are on to part 15 of the method of Emile Coue, chapter 10, Autosuggestion and the Child, part 2. When the child shows signs of understanding what is said to it, before it begins itself to speak, the following method should be applied. After the little one has fallen asleep at night, the mother enters the room, taking care not to awaken it, and stands about a yard from the head of the cot. She proceeds then to formulate in a whisper such suggestions as seem necessary. If the child is ailing, the suggestion might take the form of the phrase, "You are getting better," repeated 20 times. If it is in health, the general formula will suffice. Particular suggestions may also be formulated bearing on the child's health, character, intellectual development, etc. These, of course, should be in accordance with the instructions given in the chapter devoted to particular suggestions. On withdrawing, the mother should again be careful not to awaken the little one. Should it show signs of waking, the whispered command, "Sleep," repeated several times, will lull it again to rest. Baudouin recommends that during these suggestions the mother should lay her hand on the child's forehead. The above, however, is the method preferred by Coue. This nightly practice is the most effective means of conveying autosuggestions to the child mind. It should be made a regular habit which nothing is allowed to interrupt. If for any reason the mother is unable to perform it, her place may be taken by the father, the nurse, or some relative. But for obvious reasons, the duty belongs by right to the mother, and when a few weeks' practice has revealed its beneficent power, few mothers will be willing to delegate it to a less suitable agent. This practice, as stated above, may well begin before the child has actually learned to speak, for its unconscious will already be forming a scheme, more or less distinct, of the significance of the sounds that reach it, and will not fail to gather the general tenor of the words spoken. The date at which it should be discontinued is less easy to specify. Growth, to be healthy, must carry with it a gradual increase in independence and self-sufficiency. There seems to be some slight danger that the practice of nightly suggestions, if continued too long, might prolong unduly the state of dependence upon parental support. Reliable indications on this point are furnished, however, by the child itself. As soon as it is able to face its daily problems for itself, when it no longer runs to the parent for help and advice in every little difficulty, the time will have arrived for the parental suggestions to cease. As soon as the child is able to speak, it should be taught to repeat the general formula night and morning in the same way as an adult. Thus, when the time comes to discontinue the parent's suggestions, their effect will be carried on by those the child formulates itself. There is one thing more to add. In the case of boys, it would seem better at the age of 7 or 8 for the father to replace the mother in the role of suggester, while the mother, of course, performs the office throughout for her girls. Should any signs appear that the period of puberty is bringing with it undue difficulties or perils, the nightly practice might be resumed in the form of particular suggestions bearing on the specific difficulties. It must be remembered, however, that the child's sexual problem is essentially different from that of the adult, and the suggestions must therefore be in the most general terms. Here, as elsewhere, the end alone should be suggested, the unconscious being left free to choose its own means. As soon as the child has learnt to speak, it should not be allowed to suffer pain. The best method to adopt is that practiced by Coue in his consultations. Let the child close its eyes and repeat with the parent, "It's going, 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 gone," while the latter gently strokes the affected part. But as soon as possible, the child should be encouraged to overcome smaller difficulties for itself until the parent's help is eventually almost dispensed with. This is a powerful means of developing self-reliance and fostering the sense of superiority to difficulties which will be invaluable in later life. That children readily take to the practice is shown by these examples, which are again quoted from letters received by Coue. "Your youngest disciple is our little David. The poor little chap had an accident today, going up in the lift with his father. When quite 4 feet up, he fell out on his head and onto a hard stone floor. He was badly bruised and shocked, and when put to bed, lay still and kept saying the French, whatever, c'est passé, however you say it, over and over again, and then looked up and said, "No, not gone away. Tonight," he said again, same thing, and then added, "Nearly gone, so he is better." And that was from somebody in London, January 1922. Another lady writes, "Our cook's little niece, aged 23 months, the one we cured of bronchitis, gave herself a horrid blow on the head yesterday. Instead of crying, she began to smile, passed her hand over the place, and said sweetly," that's French thing again, which we'd say going, going, gone, because I don't speak French, "Hasn't she been well brought up?" All these methods are extremely simple and involve little expenditure of time and none of money. They have proved their efficacy over and over again in Nancy, and there is no reason why a mother of average intelligence and conscientiousness should not obtain equally good results. Naturally, first attempts will be a little awkward, but there is no need for discouragement on that account. Even supposing that through the introduction of effort some slight harm were done, and the chance is comparatively remote, this need cause no alarm. The right autosuggestion will soon counteract it and produce positive good in its place. But any mother who has practiced autosuggestion for herself will be able correctly to apply it to her child. At first glance, the procedure may seem revolutionary, but think it over for a moment and you will see that it is as old as the hills. It is merely a systematization on a scientific basis of the method mothers have intuitively practiced since the world began. Sleep, baby, sleep, angels are watching o'er thee. What is this but a particular suggestion? How does a wise mother proceed when her little one falls and grazes its hand? She says something of this kind, "Let me kiss it, and then it will be well." She kisses it, and with her assurance that the pain has gone, the child runs happily back to its play. This is only a charming variation of the method of the caress. That is where we will end that one. And I'm glad it wasn't in the middle of a letter, because I didn't really pay attention. I just chopped it by size. More tomorrow. Make it a great day, and bye for now.